Hello, friends. Coach John here. 2026. I'm just kind of getting back into it. I've been off track a little bit, and I want to talk to you today about some things that happened to me in my life, and how I lost 40 pounds in 5 months. What I did to do that, what I learned, what I learned about health, what I learned about health, wealth, and loving relationships from my life experience. I'm Coach John. I'm 53, and I just got over a little health problem over Christmas. I'll tell you that over Christmas, I'm going to back up 2 months before where I lost a relationship with a customer that I was seeing 3 times a week for a year. And due to some financial crisis on their end, things broke down a little bit at the end of the year, and that caused a financial struggle and strain for me, which was then exacerbated by a fight with my father. So a little bit of a disruption in my relationship with my father, a negative circumstance with my father. So I had this change with a customer. It created a financial ripple and shift in my life. I had this uncomfortable emotional outburst, judgmental outburst from my father, who kind of has never really supported me in my career decisions in my life. He doesn't like my bodybuilding lifestyle or my fitness lifestyle. He would have liked me to pursue some different things in my life. And he's constantly kind of sharing that point of view. And that sort of happened again. It happens almost annually, but it did happen again this fall, which was a big emotional setback for me this fall. And then I suffered a fall. I Because of this two kind of events, I was a little bit down from these things emotionally down, and it made me susceptible to some sickness. And I haven't been sick in 3 years. I tell you, I haven't been sick at all. And it was 3 years before that I was sick. And then it was like a couple of years before that, and a couple of years before that. I used to get sick every single year, once or twice, always. The last 8 years, 10 years, my sickness has gone less and less and less and shorter and shorter and shorter. I got sick over Christmas, triggered by my father and triggered by a financial trauma, and a loss of a relationship there. I got a little bit sick. I got dizzy and I fell getting out of the shower, and I smashed my head, cut my head open here, cut my head open here, uh, and suffered a head injury. I smashed my head into the door, cracked it on the floor, and lost consciousness, banged my chin on the tiles in the bathroom, cut my head on the towel rack, cut my head, cut my chin. That I was bleeding at 7 o'clock in the morning, like a serious head injury. And it was a head injury and I had a head injury when I was 13. So I had a head injury 40 years ago. I had another head injury at Christmas. Like, it's so funny how what's happened to us in our life is so impactful to our health. Like, what I want to do today is kind of share a little bit about my life story and what I learned from my life. I learned that health is a change of mind. This is what I learned. I went from being like an international level bodybuilder to a holistic health coach over the last 13 years. It was a change in my point of view. And there was a number of circumstances and things that led to that for me. I'll tell you, prior to 10, my family was struggling financially. I grew up in a financially strained family. This financial strain in my birth family was a critical aspect and circumstance in my life. At 13, I got beat up in grade 7, and I was thrown around by a guy and embarrassed in front of the girls. This was a big emotional trauma. So there was a emotional strain financially. There was an emotional embarrassment in front of the girls, specifically girls. Embarrassment in front of girls, an emotional setback at 13. I vowed then that I was going to start working out. My father got me a weight set, and I started working out at 13. And very shortly after, there was a physical trauma. I got hit in the head with a baseball and suffered a head injury. So there was a physical blow, there was an emotional blow prior to that. I started working out like feverishly at 13. By the time I was 19, I was the provincial bodybuilding champion in Ontario, Canada, here in Ontario, Canada. And I had, I grew. I grew like crazy from working out like crazy. Like, I worked out like crazy, and I ate lots of protein, and I got completely into the lifestyle. And a lot of it was linked to that head injury that I got just after I started working out. I started working out like crazy. I suffered this head injury. A baseball hit me in the head, this physical blow, and it broke into my sinus, cut me here. Like, I did have a small um, injury. I went to the hospital. I got tape stitched. It was tape stitching, but it was determined that it was okay. The bleeding stopped, and I was back to school the next day. But I did seemingly have some head trauma that continued from there. Like, I started to have problems with my health. Obsessive behavior with my bodybuilding, I'm going to say, is linked to my initial head injury that happened right after I started working out. By the time I was 18, I was already the provincial junior champion. By the time I was 23, I was in the Mr. Universe competition. By the time I was 25, I was Mr. North America. I had such tremendous early success with bodybuilding. I was a huge man. I was in the Mr. Universe competition over 30 years ago. At 19, my mother died at 42 years of age. She died of cancer. This was a massive emotional blow. It was a loss of my mother. I had a wonderful relationship with my mother, not as good a close relationship with my father. My relationship with my father was kind of touch and go my whole life. At When my mother died, my father made me move down to university because he didn't like my bodybuilding football career. I was playing football. Initially, I thought I was going to be a professional football player. I had early success with bodybuilding, and then I separated my shoulder. There was a physical injury to my right shoulder when I was playing football. I had a major separation in my shoulder. There was a physical blow there. There was that early physical blow to the head. These two physical blows, some emotional blows, loss of my mother, breakdown with my father, some negative relationships with girlfriend. Girlfriend one broke up, or girlfriend two broke up, girlfriend three broke up. Couple of those were linked to me being a Jamaican, a black man. They're these white girls' mothers' parents didn't like me dating their daughters because I was black. It put like an emotional trauma on me. Loss of my mother, loss of some girlfriends, no relationship with my father and family. Living on my own, I started working at the gym. I'm working at the gym full time. I'm becoming a very busy, successful personal trainer. I'm working like crazy, crazy, crazy at the gym. I was a huge man. By the time I was 25, I opened up my first personal training studio. This is the only time in my life that I stopped exercising. For 6 months, I didn't exercise. In the 40 years since I started working out at 13, this is the only time I stopped. I stopped a week or two, a couple times on a holiday when I separated my shoulder and when I suffered a pec tear bench pressing 400 pounds when I was 31. I tore my pec. If you ever see me with my shirt off, you'll see there's a hole in my pec here. There's a major injury there. I never got it operated on. I just didn't believe in surgery. I didn't believe so much in medication, although I did get roped up in anabolic steroids and stimulants, and also in medication because I was having so many health problems in my life by the time I hit 40. By the time I hit 35, I was starting to gain weight very easily. I was gaining weight. I mean, I'm 145 pounds. I was 50 pounds bigger than I am right now. And easy to gain weight. Like it was so simple. I had to watch myself to not gain weight. I was eating copious amount of protein my entire life. From 13, I started into my bodybuilding, and by 15, I was already super dosing protein shakes, eggs. By the time I was a junior in the Mr. Universe, I was eating a dozen eggs in the morning and a dozen eggs at night. I had this very physical worldview about my body. Fat on my body was stored calories. I want to blow this out of the water today. Fat isn't stored calories. I lost 40 pounds in 5 months, and I tell you, I saw what came out of me and what's come out of me over the last 13 years. I saw what fat really is. It's not stored calories. I tell you, it's nothing good at all. It's inflammatory waste. It's pus and food waste and bacteria and disease. It's shit. Fat is shit on your body. Although the educational system will give you this very physical worldview of the body that fat is stored calories. Your muscle burns the most calories. You need to do this body part training to increase your muscles. You have more muscles, you eat more protein, muscles made up of protein. That's a very physical worldview. I want to change you to a holistic point of view. That's a mind, body, spirit view. That's a physical, mental, emotional view of yourself and your life. That's a change of my approach. I changed my approach. When I was 40, I closed my big gym. I tell you, I closed my first gym unsuccessful, like got overwhelmed by expense. This is a massive emotional blow in my life, an emotional trauma. I had some girlfriend emotional trauma. I had my mother emotional trauma. I had my father emotional trauma. I had some financial emotional trauma. I had some physical injuries, a head injury, a shoulder separation, and a pec tear that physically strained my body and was a big root of aches and pains in my body. And then there was a lot of emotional things I've already mentioned, some emotional traumas that happened in my life with my mother, my father, and girls and finances. And when I hit 40, I by the time I hit 30, I opened my first gym, 25 opened my first gym, closed my first gym at 30, opened up another one, opened up another one, opened up a bigger one, opened up a bigger one, opened up a bigger one, opened up a big one with 10 trainers working for me and with me and carrying this big overhead in this big place, and failed. The business failed. I got overwhelmed by the cost of the business and a financial strain trigger. I felt embarrassed that I had to close my gym and what everyone was thinking and saying about me. It was an emotional blow that just set me right back. I was having emotional problems. My relationship with my wife was strained. My relationships with my daughters were strained. I lost my health at 40 and I could not get myself back. I was having pain in my neck and my shoulders linked to some physical and emotional stuff inside of my body. I tell you, I changed my view about health from this body part training point of view, from this very physical point of view, to a mental, physical, emotional, or holistic point of view. I changed from intense body part training, tore my pec bench pressing 400 pounds, to a more core strength, functional fitness approach using compound movements, whole body movements, strength and length, like a combination of yoga and physical strength, like a connection with movement and breath. I call it movement therapy. It's mobility. It's a hybrid of two, yoga and strength and length, strength and flexibility creates mobility. I want to introduce you to movement therapy, a combination of two. We are two. The human is a two-part being, a mental and physical being, or a like a head and heart, or a left brain and a right brain, or like a conscious and a subconscious, right? Conscious, subconscious. Like what's going on up here in the mental comes down here into the physical, into the heart. What's going on up here in the mental inspires how I feel. The circumstances of my life inspire the feelings in my body. I got aches and pains in my body. I got weight gain on my body. I can't lose the weight. I can't get rid of the pain. I tell you, it's physical, it's mental, it's emotional. It takes a shift in the way that I think. It takes a shift in the way that I eat. It takes a shift in the way that I breathe. It takes a shift in the way that I move and train my body. I tell you, it's a shift from a physical body part point of view to a 4-point process, a movement, nutrition, breath work, mindset, or motivational an inspired or hopeful thought process. I had to change my mind. I had to get this mind, body, spirit approach to my life. I tell you, it was a shift. I read some books. I read a specific book, Arnold Ehret's book. It made me change my understanding from this understanding of like speed up your metabolism by increasing your muscle, building more muscle, eating more protein, getting away from this thought process. I lived like this for 20 years. I became huge and heavy and unhappy and broken. I broke. I was having trouble walking, pain in my knee, pain in my hips, pain in my back, pain in my neck. If you got aches and pains in your body, if you're suffering with weight gain, belly fat, you're gaining weight, you've tried everything, I tell you, you need to change your method. Otto Warburg, Nobel Peace Prize, 1931. Disease doesn't grow in an oxygen rich environment. Hippocrates, let thy food be thy medicine. Dr. Arnold Ehret, the human is a breathing machine. The limitation of the human body isn't your amount of protein, your vitamins, your essential fat oils. These are ideas that are there to sell you more things. I tell you, I got addicted to steroids and stimulants and ecstasy. I was going to the doctor for my aches and pains. I had insomnia. I had food sensitivities. I was taking medication for sleep, sleeping pills. I was taking medication, antacids daily. I was taking prescription antacids. I was chewing Tums on top of that. I was self-medicating with ibuprofen, the aches and pains in my body. Have you got pain in your body? I want you to treat your pain, your weight gain, your sickness, illness, disease, whatever it is. I want you to train it all the same way. 95% of disease has been linked to inflammation. I want to change your approach with your health to an anti inflammatory approach. Don't sit there waiting for the last 5% of diseases to be linked to inflammation. It's all inflammation. Reduce the inflammation in your body. It's stuck in your lymphatic tissues. That's in the fluids in you, not in your blood, in your lymphatic fluids. That's your plasma. It's become dehydrated from the way that we're living, from cooked and processed foods, from multiple meals a day, 3, 4 meals a day for a life. For by the time you hit 45, by the time you hit 50, your body is smothered. The limitation of the body is inflammation in your lungs, inflammation in the lung tissues. I want to change your approach to your health from I got to get my body fat down, reduce my calories, speed up my metabolism, to I've got to clear the inflammatory waste that's stuck in my lymph nodes, coming from the activity in my brain, dripping down into my lymph, my sinuses. I had a head injury that was creating a confusion in my body, an inflammatory mess in my head. I tell you, if you saw my head when I was 40, how big and cumbersome my head was from the steroids and the inflammatory waste from the pus bleeding into my head. Since I was 13 till I was 45, it was bleeding back into my head, messing up my brain, messing up my psyche, messing up my entire life, physically, mentally, emotionally, ruining my life. I was taking medications. These things aren't solutions. They're putting more sickness, illness, more acid and disease into the body, dehydrating the body further. I was dehydrating myself with coffee, 3 coffees a day, ephedrine, stimulants for my workouts 2, 3 times a day. I was taking dehydrating elements like crazy, like we all do to try to get through our day. I tell you, we need to change this. If you are over 45, if you are over 50, and you're starting to see aches and pains or weight gain in your body, let's move to a different approach. I'm here to share my life story and experience with you to let you know that health is something physical, mental, and emotional, and you can step back into the driver's seat with your health. You can lose the weight, you can reduce the pain and aches and sleep problems, you can get your energy back, you can feel happy and healthy again, you can step back into the in charge position with your health. You can do that with your intentions and your imagination. That's your ability to visualize and your conscious breathing. Deep, full, conscious breathing. I lost 40 pounds in 6 months, 5 months, by changing my nutrition, and changing my exercise, from going from this body part, kill myself, break my body down, to a stimulate my body to breathe more, raise the oxygen in my body. Disease doesn't grow in an oxygen rich environment. Just raise up the oxygen and the hydrogen, the water in the body. I got to re stimulate the immune system, and my body will heal itself by fixing the immune system. That's the lymphatic fluids in the lymph nodes. That's the white blood cells. This is where your body fights all disease. All your aches and pains will go away. Your energy will go right up. You'll start sleeping better, start recovering better. Everything in your life will start getting better by making this shift in your understanding to, rather than breaking down my body, to oxygenating my body, hydrogenating my body. That's oxygen and hydrogen, the two energies that are here. Hydrogen from our sun, the light of the sun, life force, energy, life is a combination of two. A combination of the light of our sun and the gift of our earth that gives us life. It gives us oxygen. The earth creates oxygen. The sun creates hydrogen. Together they make water. By using a water approach, I lost 40 pounds in 5 months by shifting from a solid food diet to a holistic liquid food diet, a fruit focused diet, a hydrogen rich, oxygen rich diet, a live food diet, a change of movement from breaking my body to a movement therapy. That's how I describe it. It's a mobility, a combination of two, just like you. You're a combination of two, mind and body, mind and heart. You are an oxygen breathing, light being. Your life is a combination of your capacity to ignite or intend and your capacity to visualize or create emotion. You can change the negative emotions and traumas that have happened in your life. You can get beyond the traumas and triggers that have created havoc in your life. You can get beyond the havoc, the pain, and the weight gain. You can change your life. You can get your health back again. You can do it naturally, but it takes a change of understanding and a change point of view and approach. Have yourself a super awesome, terrific day.